All right, let's dive right into today's explainer because we are looking at something that is just, well, it's honestly one of the most chilling and perplexing things to sweep the country in recent years. Picture this, okay? It's late 2024. Out of nowhere, the night skies across multiple American states become the stage for this massive, deeply unsettling mystery. People just start looking up, and they're reporting these giant, totally silent flying objects gliding right over their heads. I'm so fascinated to unpack this with you guys today because what started out as just a few scattered reports, it quickly exploded into a nationwide enigma that had everyone looking over their shoulders. We're getting into the Silent Sentinels, the great American drone mystery. Let's get right to the facts.
Now, right off the bat, what's really interesting here is exactly what these objects were not. We've got to clear this up right from the jump. Witnesses were completely adamant. These were not airplanes. They weren't helicopters, and they absolutely 100% were not your everyday hobby drones. The source reports pouring out of states like New Jersey, Nevada, and Arizona, they describe something totally different. People were seeing massive groups of these things. I mean, some were reported to be bigger than cars, and they were moving together in this perfect, locked-in formation. Then, they just vanish, instantly, without making a single sound. The sheer scale and coordination of these swarms, happening night after night over cities and forests, well, it ruled out local hobbyists almost immediately.
Section 1. Defying known physics. The impossible specs.
So why were experts and, just regular people starting to panic? It really comes down to the specs. Think about normal aircraft. You've got loud engine noise, visible propellers or jet streams, standard linear movement, and super clear heat signatures that radar and thermal cameras easily pick up, right? But these mystery swarms? Pin-drop silence. They had literally zero visible means of propulsion whatsoever. No engines, no rotors, nothing. They were reported pulling off these impossible mid-air turns and sudden accelerations that would literally tear a normal airplane to shreds. And get this, maybe the craziest part of the whole shebang. Zero heat signatures, none. They could hover perfectly still over a neighborhood for hours and then just zip off at impossible speeds. It's a stark contrast that totally breaks the rules of physics as we know them.
And of course, the mystery deepened even more when internet sleuths and former military folks started mapping out exactly where these sightings were happening. You see, they weren't just random spots on the map. They were heavily clustered around incredibly sensitive military zones and abandoned Cold War testing facilities. So whatever these things were, they clearly had a very specific, targeted interest in restricted airspace and old government testing grounds. It's like a giant puzzle, and all the pieces were pointing somewhere highly classified.
And it's that specific interest that really set off alarm bells for the people who know our skies the best. Listen to this statement from a retired Air Force officer. He said, "These movements don't look human-controlled." Just let that sink in for a second. You have a trained expert, someone whose entire career was about identifying things in the air, looking at these swarms and saying, yeah, human hands couldn't possibly be maneuvering these. That was the turning point. That exact moment was when the conspiracy theories just spread like wildfire across America, taking this from some weird local news oddity to a severe national security question.
Moving on to our next part, the Nevada Desert Encounter, a terrifying close call.
All right, I want you to picture this. A terrified family is driving down a pitch-black, remote desert highway in Nevada. Out of nowhere, step 1, several glowing objects just lock onto their car, keeping perfect pace with them for over 20 grueling minutes. Then, step 2, the objects silently glide from behind the vehicle and completely surround it in the sky. Step 3, the daughter inside grabs her phone to record these glaring lights hovering right over the road, but the footage just abruptly cuts to static. And then we hit step 4, which is honestly the most chilling detail of the report. Every single electronic device inside that car temporarily completely fails, just dies. I mean, imagine the sheer staggering terror of sitting in a dead car on a dark highway with these silent glowing orbs just watching you from directly above. Absolutely terrifying.
Section 3. Unfriendly skies, pilots, and official silence.
Now, it wasn't just people on the ground experiencing this. Commercial pilots flying over Western America started reporting these unidentified lights to air traffic control too. Get a load of this alleged radio plea. Do you see those objects too? Imagine being a pilot responsible for the lives of hundreds of passengers, and you're staring out your cockpit window at these impossible, silent formations, having to literally ask the tower for guidance. But the kicker? Officials completely refused to answer the pilots publicly. And as you can guess, that wall of official silence did not calm anyone down. Actually, scratch that. It made the mystery infinitely worse.
Because, look, the official US government response was just frustratingly vague. Sure, they finally admitted they were monitoring unusual drone activity, but they gave the public basically zero actual information, no clear explanation, no confirmed source, and they announced exactly 0 arrests. But behind closed doors, oh man, leaked online discussions showed a totally different story. Intelligence officials were privately terrified. They were secretly expressing fears that these weren't ordinary drones at all, which completely contradicts the calm, nothing-to-see-here routine they were trying to project to the rest of us.
Which brings us to the theories. Theories of the unknown. What exactly is in the sky?
Let's analytically break this down. What are we actually dealing with here? Well, there are 3 prevailing theories trying to explain the whole thing. Theory number 1, foreign surveillance. This is the idea that foreign governments are secretly and very successfully testing highly advanced surveillance tech right over US cities and military bases. Theory number 2, military AI. This suggests the swarms are actually a highly classified US military program testing out advanced artificial intelligence capable of operating entirely without human pilots. And then there's theory number 3, the paranormal or non-human theory. This is the much darker suggestion that these objects, moving with impossible physics and zero heat signatures, simply aren't man-made at all. Now, in this explainer, we aren't taking a side on which one is correct. But think about it. Every single one of those options carries massive, world-altering implications.
And you know what the most unsettling part of this entire mystery is? The sightings are still happening today. Videos are still surfacing online showing these silent formations of lights just moving across the night sky. But the real toll here is psychological. Notice this chilling quote, which we've heard echoed by multiple witnesses across completely different states. It felt like they were watching us. Reports even suggest these objects seem to react the second they realize they're being filmed. They'll disappear in seconds, leaving people with this deeply haunting shared feeling of being observed by something utterly unexplainable.
Which leads us perfectly to our final lingering thought. Based on everything we've looked at today in this explainer, the impossible physics, the clustering around military locations, those terrifying electronic failures, and the strict official silence, we are left staring at one massive question. What would you do if something unknown started watching America from the sky?